Hey yogis, today on Forging for Balance we're going to work on a sequence for stiff lower backs. Alright? This is not a substitute for going to the doctor if you have chronic problems or acute problems, but if you're just a little sore from sitting or sleeping wonky, this might help you out. Alright, so we're going to start today lying on our backs on the mat. So you can have your knees bent or extend them long. Wherever you're at, I encourage you to close your eyes. We're just going to take a moment to settle in for our yoga practice we're about to embark on. I want you to envision all those activities you would do if your back was feeling fantastic. What you would accomplish in your day. And then if your knees are bent, let's extend our legs long. From here, let's flex our feet so toes are pointing toward the ceiling. Inhale, take arms overhead to the top of your mat, stretching as long and tall as you can. And we're going to move our feet and our hands over to the right side of the mat. Your back and butt should stay on the mat, looking toward the ceiling. Just getting a big side bend here. Let's release, come to middle, and then we'll take feet and hands over to the left side of your mat, feeling a big stretch along the right side of the body. Imagine yourself looking like a curvy banana from above. And we'll come back to center, and let's bend our knees, feet on the floor. We're going to tuck our knees to our chest. Give them a little hug, maybe a little rock side to side. Beautiful. Then bring hands to kneecaps. We'll go into a little Apanasana flow. So inhale, let your legs move away from you while still holding on. Exhale, pull them a little closer to your body. So inhale, as we open, we inflate. It automatically pushes our legs away. Exhale, we can pull our knees in, help push the air out. If you need to, you can take your knees wide. If that works better for your body. Let's do 2 more. Great job. Then we'll release, letting your feet come down to the mat. Take your arms out wide if you have enough space. You can join them in a little cactus arms or even grab overhead. We're going to focus on twists in the lower body. So inhale here. Exhale, let your knees tip over to the right. Inhale, drawing them back through center. Exhale, taking them to the left. Let's move slow with control as we go from side to side. Last round. We'll come back to center. From here, I'd like you to make your way to a comfortable seated position. So you can roll to one side and press up, or you may choose to rock and roll, which may feel good on your back. Come all the way up to seated. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position, whatever that happens to look like for you today. Maybe hips up on blocks or a bolster. You can have crisscross applesauce. You can have one leg in front of the other. Let's just rest our hands on our knees as we sit up nice and tall. lifting through the crown of your head. And we're going to work on Ujjayi breathing. So I want you to just keep breathing in and out through your nose. Okay, and as you're breathing in and out, I want you to slightly constrict the back of your throat. Just a slight constriction. You don't want to feel like you're gasping for breath. And it's going to make a little shh, shh, this little whooshing or a little baby Darth Vader noise. That noise is going to be really subtle. You should hear it, but maybe nobody else around you. Nice job. So you can keep doing your Ujjayi breathing throughout our practice till we hit Shavasana, or you can just let it fade away. You can let it come and go. Let's move to some more body postures. We're going to tip right ear over to right shoulder. You can rest your right hand on top if you'd like a little extra stretch. But for many, it's not really necessary. From here, let's roll chin down to chest, looking toward your belly button. And then we'll take it over to the left side. So left ear to left shoulder, taking any modifications you wish. Let's come back to center. Then we'll do a little wrist stretch. So reach your right hand out in front of you. Left hand's going to come grabbing part of the palm and the fingers and pull back so you feel a stretch on the inside of your wrist. From the side it looks like. Let's release. Point your right fingers down. Left hand comes in. Gently pull so we feel a stretch along the back of our wrist now. Okay, let's release. Shake it out. We'll take it to the other side and reach that left hand forward. Pull it in. Let's release. Point the fingers down. Grab the back of your hand. Gently tug in. Let's release and shake that out. All right. From here, take your fingertips out to the side. We're going to go into a seated flowing side stretch to find some lateral or side-to-side flexion and extension in the spine. Inhale, bring that right arm up. Exhale, reach it to the left. Inhale, coming back through center, switching arms. Exhale, left arm reaches right. Let's do a few more rounds, going to side with your breath. Finish up the round you're on. And we'll come back to center, sitting up nice and tall. And we'll go into a seated flowing twist. So let's take both arms out in front of us, palms facing each other. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to the right, bringing your arms down. Inhale, up and center. Exhale, twist left, bringing arms down. So just keep moving. side to side with your breath. All right, one more round. And then come back to center. Release your arms down. We're going to take them behind the back. And I'll turn so you can see what's happening a little better here. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Press down with your hands. And then just lift without leaning forward. Your lift may stay down here. That's okay. We just really want to stretch across the front of our shoulders and chest. Great job. Let's release, bringing hands to knees again. And we'll go into seated torso circles. So sitting nice and tall to start. Shift our weight over to the right. Inhale as you come across right to left. Exhale as you scoop around the back, left to right. So drawing big circles with your torso. Finish up that circle you're on, and then let's reverse it. So we're going to inhale as we go left to right in the front. Exhale as you scoop across the back, right to left. Let's finish up those circles. Sitting nice and tall again. I like to bring my knees together and shift them to one side. We're going to head to hands and knees, or our tabletop position. So hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. Spread your fingers nice and wide to distribute your weight. We're going to go into some cats and cows. So we're going to find forward, backward, flexion, extension through the spine. Okay? So let's start with our inhales, our cows. We're going to lift the booty, drop the belly, broaden through the chest, and gaze forward. Right? And when you find your next exhale, we'll find cat by taking chin to chest. Press the mat away through your arms, round your spine, and tuck your tailbone. Right? So let's try to make that full speed with our breath. Inhale, dropping the belly, lifting booty, cow. Exhale, press the mat away into cat. So let's keep moving from one to the other. Let's do one more. And we'll come back to tabletop. So when we're in tabletop, I really want you to check your hips. It's really easy for us to drop kind of into the cow bottom with our booty lifted and our belly dropped. But let's try to come into neutral. Really engage those core muscles. We're going to work on spinal balance. We'll start really easily. I want you to inhale, reach your right hand forward. Exhale, bring it to the mat. Inhale, reach left hand forward. Exhale, bring it to the mat. Inhale, we're going to go legs now. Send your right leg straight back, toes to the floor. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, left leg straight back, toes to the floor. Exhale, bring it to the mat. Right? So if that was challenging, keep moving one limb at a time. If you were thinking, meh, that was a little too easy, we're going to do diagonals. So let's inhale, reach right hand, left foot. Exhale, bring them to the mat. Inhale, left hand, right foot. Exhale, bring them to the mat. So you want to be really stable and not really rock from side to side when you switch. And we do that by keeping our core really activated throughout this movement. Let's finish up the round that you're on. Great job. We're going to sink hips back toward heels, keeping arms reaching nice and long. We're going to find a little flow here. So I want you to come forward until you find kneeling plank. So you want shoulders over wrists. You might have to wiggle your knees back a little bit. We want a straight line from shoulders through hips down to knees. From there, you're going to lower it down to the mat. Inhale, lift head and chest, and I want you to do this with your back muscles. So we're not really going to push through the hands right for this movement. And then we're going to release that a little bit, and now we're going to press into the hands, sending hips back to extended child's pose. So let's repeat that a few times. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift using those back muscles. Exhale, press it back, child's pose. So let's repeat a few times, following your breath. If you need to, you can hang out in child's pose or take a little longer to get through any one of these steps. Let's do it 2 more times. Last one. And we'll meet back in child's pose. All right. From here, we're going to head to downward facing dog. So let's lift the hips, tuck the toes, press up and back. So your primary goal, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen through the spine. Let's decompress. All right. Secondary goal is to reach those heels down toward the floor. They may or may not get there. Doesn't really matter. Really feel the length. It'll look like a little tent or an upside down V. And we're going to make this a little easier for ourselves. Let's bend our knees, dropping them on the mat. Untuck your toes and come up into a kneeling position. From here, let's shift all of our weight into our left knee. Bring your right foot forward. And we're going to sink into that front leg. You might feel a little bit of a bend in your back, but we want to try to keep it pretty neutral. All right, from here, let's fold forward at the hips. Bring your left hand down to the mat and a right hand to the ceiling in a twist. Untwist, looking down again, bring the torso up, and we're going to push back, bring your right knee underneath you again. All right, back to our kneeling position. Let's do the other side. Shift your weight into your right knee, right leg. We're going to step that left foot forward, shift forward, sinking into your little lunge here. If you need to, you can scoot your feet forward or back. Keeping the torso pretty upright. Should feel a stretch somewhere along the front of the right hip. let's fold it forward. Bringing right hand to the mat this time, left hand to the ceiling. All right, release. Left hand down to the mat. And we'll bring torso up. And when you feel stable, press back. Bring your left knee underneath you. From here, let's fold forward, reaching those hands forward a bit. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. We're going to find that downward facing dog again. Again, really focus on lengthening the spine. And then let's shift our weight forward, finding plank. So you want shoulders right over wrists. You might have to wiggle your toes back. Nice flat board. You can always drop your knees back to kneeling plank if you need to. Great job. Let's drop our knees, everybody. Untuck your toes. Bring your hands right underneath you into our all fours, and we're going to thread the needle. So let's take your right hand, you're going to slide it under the left armpit, palm up, till you come to rest on the outside of your right shoulder, right side of your face. Your booty's going to be nice and high in the air. And let's press our left hand to the mat. Slide that right arm out. Place your right hand on the mat to get to the other side. So left hand goes under right armpit, palm up. Let's come all the way down onto the outside of our left shoulder, left side of our face. Let's press into the mat. Come on up. And we're going to go into puppy pose. So keep those hips right over knees. Slide the hands forward. Try to keep your arms straight. You'll really feel a shoulder stretch here. Some of you might be able to put your chest on the ground and look forward. Let's all lift our chest, bend your arms so your elbows come down to the mat, and shift weight forward till shoulders come over elbows, and then wiggle those hips back, finding Sphinx pose. So really think about lengthening your spine here, and then the arch. Don't droop into your shoulders. Let's take a few more breaths here. Great job. So lower it down to the mat. Bring hands under shoulders. We're going to press up and back to child's pose. Take your favorite version. I'm going to with knees up together today. Then it's really supportive of my back. And I'm going to use my hands as a pillow. We already did that big shoulder stretch, but if you want more, you can keep your arms out in front of you. On your next inhale, Bring your torso up. If your knees were apart, let's slide them together. Everyone sit to one side. Sweep your legs around so they are in front of you. Find yourself in a nice seated staff pose. Sit up as nice and tall as you can. If you're really tight, your knees might be a little bent. That's okay. But let's try to press our legs into the mat. Toes to the ceiling. If this is a struggle, stay right here. If you've got a little more length in those hamstrings, let's fold forward from the hips, keeping your spine nice and long and reaching toward the toes. No magic happens at the toes, so let's focus on those mechanics today. Sometimes we round the spine if we're going to really rest in this pose, but today let's keep our spine pretty neutral and long. And inhale, sit up nice and tall again. We're going to bend both knees, bringing the soles of your feet together into butterfly pose. Right. Again, work on sitting up nice and tall. If you've got that one down, see if you can hinge forward from the hips. And next inhale, let's sit up nice and tall. Bring hands under knees. Bring those knees together. You put your hands on the mat. We're just going to swish our legs from side to side like little windshield wipers. And let's finish that up. Come back to center. Now, you're probably going to want to scooch to the center of your mat if you're not already there. And we're going to roll onto our backs. And then tuck your knees in toward your chest. Let's start by just giving them a little hug and a rock side to side. And we'll find stillness. Bring hands to knees. We're going to draw some circles. Finish up that circle you're on, and then let's reverse. Last one. Beautiful. And we're going to release our knees so our feet can come back to the floor. We're going to do that supine twist like we did in our warm-up, but this time we're going to hold it. So you can take your arms out to the sides in a big T, cactus, or overhead. Let's tip both knees over to the right and turn your head to look left. Turning your head lets you carry that twist all the way up the spine. Let's inhale, bring knees and eyes to the ceiling. Exhale, let your knees drop to the left as you look to your right. Inhale, bring knees and eyes back to the ceiling. Let's relax, arms down near your sides, palms up. Maybe wiggle the shoulder blades down your back a little. I'm going to give you two options for final relaxation. The first is to take your feet more than hip width apart. You can take the mat width apart and let your knees fall together. We call this constructive rest pose. And it could feel better for your back than lying flat on the mat. And our other option is to extend our legs out in a more traditional Shavasana. Know that you can always pop a bolster under your knees here as well. Whichever form of relaxation you're going to take, I want you to surrender into the mat, letting go of tension, letting go of all the thoughts running around in your head. We're going to take some time to relax and be. Right, before we come out of this relaxation, I'd like you to think again about all those things you're going to do when your back feels wonderful, like it hopefully does now. All those things you want to accomplish in your day. All right, with that in mind, let's make our next breath a little deeper. Let's bring a little movement back to the body, start to wake it up. Maybe wiggling fingers, toes, arms, legs. Okay, when you're ready, let's bend the knees, bringing feet flat on the floor. Then find your way to a comfortable seated position, whether that's rolling to the side or giving a little rock and roll. Maybe not too vigorous so we can keep this calm. All right. Nice and seated, nice and tall, lifting through the spine. Let's take hands out to the side. Inhale, scooping up all the good stuff we got from today's lesson and bringing it down to your heart. I wish you peace, love, happiness, and most importantly for today, a very happy back. All right, Thank you so much for joining me. Alright, I hope you liked that video. If you'd like to see more videos and have an idea of what you'd like me to focus on, please drop it in the comments below. Thanks so much. Hope to see you again.